When most people think about Iraq, they don't think about investing. They think about conflict, instability, and risk. But Iraq is also one of the most oil-rich countries in the world. So the question is Iraq just too risky to consider? Or is there something more going on beneath the surface? Iraq sits in one of the most important regions in the world. Iraq holds some of the largest proven oil reserves globally. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries 2024 Statistical Bulletin puts Iraq at having 9.2% of the global proven reserves, with their estimated oil output at about 4.4% of the global output. And despite years of instability, it remains a key player in global energy markets. This isn't a small economy. It's a resource giant with a complicated history. Iraq's economy is heavily dependent on oil. Oil accounts for the majority of government revenue and the vast majority of exports. In 2024, the IMF showed oil revenue at 38.8% of GDP versus total revenues and grants at 42.6% of GDP in 2023, which implies roughly 91% of government revenue coming from oil that year. That creates a very specific type of economy, one that rises and falls with global energy prices. Iraq isn't just oil dependent, it's oil dominated. Let's talk about the stock market. Iraq does have a functioning stock exchange, the Iraq Stock Exchange, located in Baghdad, but it's relatively small. In 2025, the Iraqi Securities Commission said that there were 118 listings on the Iraqi Stock Exchange. Liquidity is limited. Daily trading is often in the hundreds of thousands to low single-digit millions of US dollars, and foreign access is restricted. While foreign investors have been allowed to trade on the Iraqi Stock Exchange since 2007, investors must navigate complex bureaucratic procedures to open trading accounts and repatriate funds. Additionally, foreign ownership is often capped at 49% for certain sectors, with some strategic sectors having stricter limitations. So where's the opportunity? Despite the challenges, there are areas of potential. We spoke earlier about oil revenue. There is also reconstruction and infrastructure development, and a relatively young population. There is an estimate of Iraq having a population of 45 to 46 million people. The World Bank estimates that about 60% of the population is between the ages of 15 and 64 years old. In theory, Iraq has the ingredients for growth: resources, population, and rebuilding demand. What are the risks of investing in Iraq? Political instability. While domestic stability has improved after the current government took office in 2022, political stability is not as stable by developed market standards. Security concerns. The big security concerns involve preventing the resurgence of ISIS, managing spillover from Syria, border security, and containing militia and drone risks tied to wider regional conflicts. Corruption, transparency. International gives Iraq a score of 28 out of 100 and ranks it 136 out of 182 countries. Weak institutions. In practice, that means contracts aren't always enforced consistently, regulations can change unpredictably, and the systems that support businesses don't always function reliably. And for investors, that creates a level of uncertainty that goes beyond just market risk. Lastly, there is currency risk. The local currency is the Iraqi dinar. The dinar is run under a conventional peg to the US dollar. In practice, the dinar is not a freely floating, globally liquid currency, and access is much more constrained than for major emerging market currencies. In Iraq, risk isn't a factor, it's the environment. How can you invest in the Iraqi stock market? This is key. Limited broker access. The Iraqi Securities Commission's broker directory shows several dozen local brokerage firms. One broker, for example, Rabi Securities, is a local broker in Iraq which does not have an account minimum to trade. There are no verified U.S. retail brokers offering direct exposure to the Iraqi stock market. Securities and funds. As of now, there are no active ADR or GDR listings available to U.S. investors. There are few funds out there that invest in Iraq, one being the AFC Iraq Fund. The minimum investment for U.S. citizens is $50,000, and the minimum investment for non-U.S. citizens is $10,000. Regardless of which method you choose to invest in the Iraqi stock market, always consider the procedures of opening and funding accounts. Procedures that include documentation required to open an account and moving and converting funds internationally to fund your account. Iraq isn't just difficult to analyze, it's difficult to access. Iraq is one of the most resource-rich countries in the world, but resources alone don't make a market investable. The opportunity exists. The question is whether the system around it allows that opportunity to be realized. If you're interested in deeper analysis on frontier and emerging markets most investors overlook, consider subscribing. This is Frontier Market Intelligence.